All right, picture this. You're looking up at the moon, maybe through a pair of binoculars on just a regular night, and all of a sudden you see it, a brilliant, silent flash on the dark part of its surface. Now, what you've just witnessed isn't science fiction. It's raw cosmic physics, and we're going to break down exactly what's happening. So what was that? Well, that brilliant flash is what it looks like when a 20-meter asteroid, that's about the size of a house, by the way, smashes into the moon. And don't worry, there's no apocalypse here, no danger to us at all. It's just a really fascinating display of what happens when things in space run into each other. Okay, so there's a name for this. Astronomers call it a lunar impact flash. And they're actually watching for these things all the time. The wild part is these small impacts on the moon, they happen way more often than you might think. We're just lucky when we get to catch one in action. So what's actually going on when that flash happens? It really all comes down to the incredible physics of the impact, and it all starts with just an immense amount of energy. You've got this 20-meter asteroid, right? And it's screaming through space at 20 kilometers per second. That means it's carrying a staggering amount of kinetic energy. And here's the key, unlike Earth, the moon has no atmosphere. It has no brakes. So there is absolutely nothing to slow this thing down. It just delivers all of that energy in one single instant hit. So the crucial point here is that when it hits, all of that kinetic energy gets released instantly, and the result is an explosion that's equivalent to roughly 5 megatons of TNT. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. That is an absolutely enormous amount of power, all unleashed in a fraction of a second. Now, to put that number into perspective, this impact is just vastly more powerful than, say, the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. But here's the thing that's really interesting. In the long, violent history of the moon, an event like this is, well, it's pretty routine. You could almost call it a cosmic Tuesday. You know, an energy release on that scale, it's definitely going to leave a mark. So let's take a look at the cosmic aftermath, the actual physical scar that gets left behind on the lunar surface. So after that bright flash of light is gone, what's actually left behind on the moon from an impact this big? Well, here you go. The collision carves out a massive crater. We're talking somewhere between 200 and 300 meters wide. To give you some perspective, that's about the size of a modern sports stadium. It's a permanent monument to a moment that was over in a flash. But the impact doesn't just dig a hole. It also blasts tons of lunar dust and rock. Scientists call this ejecta, way up high above the surface. And because the moon's gravity is only about 1/6 of what we have here on Earth, all that material travels much, much farther than it ever could on our planet. It creates this absolutely spectacular, almost slow-motion plume. Okay, so this is all happening hundreds of thousands of miles away. It's an incredible event for sure, but it kind of begs the question, right? Can we actually see it from here? And maybe more importantly, what can we learn from it? And the answer is yes, you totally can see it, but only under the right conditions. The impact has to happen on the moon's night side, the part that isn't lit up by the sun. If that happens, the flash is pretty easy to spot for professional telescopes. Even some advanced amateur gear could pick it up. The real challenge is that these flashes are super brief and completely unpredictable. But this is about so much more than just cosmic fireworks. For scientists, every single impact is a rare opportunity. The best way to think about it is like a natural probe. See, by blasting away the surface, the impact kicks up all this material from deep beneath the lunar soil. It gives us this precious glimpse at what the moon is made of on the inside, and we don't even have to land a drill. All right, so we've been talking about megatons of energy and craters the size of stadiums. It's only natural to wonder about one last very important question. Does something like this happening on the moon pose any kind of risk to us back here on Earth? And the answer, I'm happy to say, is simple: no. Earth is safe. Most of the debris, the fragments blasted out from the impact, they either just fall right back down to the lunar surface or they get caught in the moon's orbit. Any tiny particles that might by some chance make it to us, they just burn up harmlessly as faint meteors in our atmosphere. Nothing to worry about. And maybe that's the most profound thing to take away from all this. These impacts are a constant reminder of the dynamic and, yeah, sometimes violent universe that we live in. But from where we're standing, this isn't a catastrophe. It's a beautiful natural phenomenon. It really drives home that we are the lucky guardians of a calm world, watching a violent universe from a distance.